I love this lesson. I've been looking forward to this all day. One, I'm kind of hungry, so I'm glad to talk about pies for a second, and this pie looks good down here. Two, this just makes so much sense. It's so intuitive. I like it. So, what is a pie chart? Well, its technical definition is it's a circular graph divided up into sections whose sizes represent their proportional relationships. The common sense definition is it's a chart that looks like a pie. That's why it's called a pie chart. I love that. See, we came up with math. We not me and this guy here. Humans. And so we like pie, and this chart looks like pie. I mean, so we call it a pie chart. So there's nothing like magical about this. It's just very common sense. So, um, okay, so let me give you kind of a mathematical example. I mean, this pumpkin pie looks great, but let's look at some math. So here's just a nice little chart put together called the composition of our atmosphere, and it shows um, how much nitrogen is in the atmosphere, how much oxygen, and how much other. And so when we talk about it's a circular graph, okay, it's a circle. It's a graph that's a circle, divided up into sections. So in this one, there's one, two, three sections whose sizes represent their proportional relationship. So what that means is this section of the pie graph is very big because most of the composition of the atmosphere is nitrogen. This section of the chart is smaller, although it's pretty big, because the second most bountiful element in our atmosphere is oxygen. And then the amount of other elements in the atmosphere is relatively very small compared with nitrogen and oxygen. So you can look at a pie chart and immediately tell how these quantities relate to each other, what their proportion is to each other. So what is this piece of pie? I don't know. I would say that's maybe an eighth or a tenth of the entire pie.